Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. I want to start off by saying I am so sorry. I did not realize until I got out here, like 3 seconds, well, I came out earlier, but when I stood up here to do my live, I didn't even put my face on for the live tonight. It has been an amazing, crazy, chaotic day. Usually we have Lucas on Monday, but we had him today. And my girlfriend and I were both grandmas, so we decided to take the little ones to story time at the little local library up the street, and it was so much fun. Story time literally lasted maybe 20-ish minutes, but we stayed over an hour and a half because the kids were playing and having so much fun. We came home, ate lunch, took a 3-hour nap, and then, my day literally just kind of flew by, and I totally spaced going in and getting cleaned up and ready for the live. But I am out here, so that's really all that matters. Good evening. If you're just logging on, say hi so I know you're here. My comments actually are not even showing, so once I flip over to my iPad, I'll be able to see comments. So good evening, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a great day. After Lucas left, just a little after 5, my husband and I decided to eat dinner and then come out here for the live. And after we were eating, and I was like, the house is so quiet. Like, I feel so bad. I'm so used to having him around and screaming and playing and having fun. And it's really sad when the house is quiet. I need him back. I texted that to Cassie, and she's like, you can have him anytime. So maybe I will get him again. Okay, enough chit-chatting. I am going to point you over because we actually have lots to talk about today. So I'm just going to make sure we are live on my iPad. I think I was watching something on there, so I wanted to make sure my volume was down. And there we are. Perfect. I can see comments. Hello, Heather, Valerie. Good evening. Okay, so let's start with, actually, let me get all of this fun stuff out of the way so I can have my full screen. Okay, let's talk about bingo. Bingo was on Saturday, and we had so much fun. The weather was super chilly, and it made the hot cocoa bar even more amazing. But this was the bag everybody got. When you open it up, on the inside, you can wipe it out, so if anything spills in it, it won't go through. So it's kind of waterproof. And this is chiffon on the bottom. So this was the bag that everybody got. My amazing seamstress, literally, I just sent her a picture of something that I like, and she creates it. So she is amazing. Oh, let me bring that back in. So I picked these colors because I wanted to use the framed florets designer series paper. I really don't have much of this paper left, so you're only going to be seeing tidbits of it. But doesn't this paper match this bag perfectly? That's exactly what I was going for, and it worked out perfect. So let me get the bag out of the way, and I'll show you the paper. So this paper is on while supplies last. It did not carry over into the catalog, which I'm super, super sad because it is absolutely phenomenal. So if you like it, I would definitely get it now. What's that song? If you like it, put a ring on it. Definitely get this paper if you like it, because it will not last very much longer. The dies that coordinate with it, they are going to be in the new catalog. So you can definitely get the dies in the stamp set later if you want, or you can get it all at once. But the dies cut out some of the flowers from the designer series paper. So that is super nice to have. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Good evening, Stephanie. Good evening, Anna. Welcome. So here is the stamp set and the dies that match it. There's so many little tiny pieces of hair everywhere. So sorry. So it's a framed floret, and I love wishing for a beautiful birthday. And I love the big, bold, beautiful sentiments. Now, with classes and retreats and stuff, I try not to color too much because it is a little bit tedious and it could just make a longer process. And I don't want anybody to stress out about making sure everything's colored perfectly. But We had a smaller group at bingo, which was amazing. So I decided to use this flower, this one, and then these leaves on the side, and we did color them. So let me show you the cards that we did at bingo. Let me push that aside. So here is one of them, and everybody did get an envelope that matched their card. So this one was actually no coloring. Remember how I said you could cut the flowers out of the designer series paper? So this is what went here, was the designer series paper flower that was cut out. So this was the first one. Thank you for with all my hearts. Here is the other one, and I loved this plaid paper. But we did color this guy and the little leaves at the bottom, and we just put celebrate up at the top. And of course, mine doesn't have the white inside, but your guys's did. I'll eventually go back or just have my neighbor girl, Mackenzie, do that for me. So there's the second one. And the third one is actually what we're going to be putting together tonight. Everybody loved it so much, and it is super easy. It's a little tricky, but it's super easy. So it is a double Z fold card. So that is what we're going to be making tonight. And it says, wishes for a beautiful birthday for a special person on a special day. Now you definitely could leave this blank and put your sentiment on here, but I wanted a little bit more writing room, so I put my sentiment right here in the corner. So this is what we're going to be making today. So let's get started. Good evening, Debbie. Welcome. Okay, so everything's actually still in the envelope from bingo. I haven't taken everything apart yet. Let's push all this out of the way, and we will concentrate on the Night in Navy. So this is a piece of Night in Navy, and it's cut 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it twice. So I scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. I did put all of the measurements before I went live, but I scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold this in half. Grab the bone folder. I'm actually going to walk into the craft room. I will talk to you as I'm walking. During bingo, one of the ladies needed a bone folder, so I grabbed the one on the Facebook Live table, and I forgot to put it back. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to give this a good crease. And this extra flap where it's scored at 2 1/8, I am just going to flip this back over and give that a good crease. So this is going to make our first kind of Z. I hope that's what it's called. That's what we're calling it. So I'm going to set this aside for a second. And I want to bring in this piece. Oh, I did forget to put this in the description. Before I post it to YouTube, I will do that. So this is 8.5 by, it is 1 3/4. 8.5 by 1 3/4. And this is scored at the same exact marks as our card base. Let me flip it around. So it's scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So we're going to give this a good fold. This is a tiny piece, so you really don't have to use your bone folder. So I'm just going to crease those back. And now we have two pieces that are identical. So if you put this, let me fold it the other way. If you put this right up next to it, it is going to be the exact same measurements. But we're going to play with this guy later. We're just going to concentrate on our card base for now. I do have a piece that is for our envelope. And then I have a 2-inch piece of basic white. So this is 2 inches by 5 1/4. And I have two pieces of designer series paper that are 2 inches by 4 inches. And then lots of little scraps of leaves and flowers. And this is the one that we're going to stamp in color. So we're going to do that in a little bit. I'm going to start with these pieces. So this one piece is going to be for the front of our card, but these two pieces are going to be for the inside of our card. So what I like to do when I have two pieces that are separated, instead of trying to glue them to our card base and getting them even, I like to flip them over line them up. Try to line them up. There we go. And I'm going to grab a piece of tear tape and I'm going to hold these guys together. I'll probably just grab 2 small pieces. And this just kind of holds it in place so I can glue it to my card base. Scotch tape works as well, but if you don't have a piece of Scotch tape handy, the tear tape works perfectly. There we go. And now we can grab our adhesive. Let's see. Good evening, Darlene and Marie. Hello. You guys probably are very familiar with this card, but I wasn't sure if everybody was, so I thought we would put it together. Let's make sure our glue works, and it looks like there is a little booger on the ends, so I am not going to fight with that one. I'm just going to open up a new one. Sometimes it is just easier to open a new one than fight with that one. So I am going to leave the stickiness on these pieces right here just to give me a little bit more wiggle room. If I took those off, I wouldn't be able to move it around and make sure it's all even. And nobody's going to know what's underneath there. So that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and press that down. And you're probably thinking, why is there an open square at the bottom? But trust me, all of this will work out. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to grab my other 2" by 4" strip, and I'm going to put it right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. There we go. I'm going to tuck that up into the corner, make sure it's all even, and that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and press it down. And you notice neither of these pieces go all the way to the bottom. There is a method to my madness. So here is what our card is starting to look like. So now let's bring in our little band piece. So you have a wider piece on one side, and then the other side is where you have your 2 score marks. So we want to make sure that our 2 score marks are going to be on the right-hand side. So we want the longer piece on the left. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to attach it just right here. So you only want to put adhesive right here at the bottom. So I'm going to grab my adhesive, put a little right there, and make sure you have your long piece. And I'm going to attach this right at the corner. Hold that down just for a hot second. You can open it up to give it a little bit more pressure. There we go. So now we are going to work on this piece. So this is the little tiny square on the right-hand side. We only want to put adhesive on here. So I'm going to come in, put some adhesive, and this piece is going to get glued to this corner. So just line those corners up. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna just hold that for a quick second. Okay, that should be good. Now watch the magic. So when you close your card, now you have a fun Z-fold. You could put this fold anywhere on your cards. You could put it in the center. You could put it up at the top if you wanted to, but I liked it down at the bottom. And you can make this a little bit thinner if you wanted to as well, but I thought that was a perfect size. So now we can start on decorating our card. So I have a 2" by 1 1/4" strip, and I am going to put for a special person on a special day. I'm going to open up the Night and Navy ink this up, and I'm going to stand on my tippy toes. Oh, sorry, I just hit my camera. I can't really tell if I am going to be even. So we're going to cross our fingers. Let's try that again. Let me grab this and lay it down. I might need to pull it a little bit closer to me, so if it's out of camera, I apologize. Yeah, it's going to be out of camera for a quick second. For some reason, the white on white is throwing me. I don't think that's much better, so maybe it isn't throwing me. It's fine. We're going to use it. So this little piece is going to go right here at the corner. That's why there's two sides to a paper, but this time I kind of messed up both sides. But I honestly don't think anybody's going to notice. So there is that piece. And then let's bring in, I put everything on the Stamparatus for bingo. It was just easier for everybody to stamp if I have a mask. So I kept the mask on here. I'm going to put my little flower inside my mask, ink it up in the mementos. I knew it was here, I just had to find it. Ink this up. We're going to close it. And if we have time, I do have two to make, but I did color all the other flowers. But if we don't have enough time, it's not tragic. At least we've got the one. So I am going to bring in a piece of paper to go on the backgrounds or underneath it, just because sometimes these do bleed a little bit. So I'm going to start with the light balmy blue, and I'm gently going to color in just the flower. And the one nice thing about using the blends is you don't have to push very hard, and it kind of just picks up and blends all of it. So even if you miss a spot, it's really not tragic. The hardest part is to talk and color at the same time. I can multitask pretty well, but not when it comes to coloring, concentrating, and talking. Not my forte. But this coloring isn't too tragic. It's not a very big piece to color. So there we go. So there's the light balmy blue. And then I'm going to come in with the dark balmy blue. And I'm going to color in the center of the flower. And I just want to come in and do a little bit of bordering, just to give it a little bit of depth. Nothing too tragic. There we go. And then I'm going to come in one more time and color the centers because I want that to be a little bit bolder. And you could go over it a couple times if you wanted to. There we go. And now I'm going to do the same with the light soft succulents. I'm just going to come in and do the leaves. It's nice because these pens have a super a pointy tip on them, so you can get right into the little tiny pieces, and it isn't hard. My phone is going off, so hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. My kids must be texting amongst themselves, or someone's texting me. So just going to color these in. We just have a little bit of shading to do. There we go. So now I'm going to grab the dark soft succulent, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I just want a few of the leaves to be a tiny bit darker, just to make them pop a little bit more. I just want to come in and do a itty bitty bits of this as well. And it honestly doesn't matter which ones you do. There we go. And I didn't do this on the other ones, but I have my Winkostella sitting beside me. So I think I might color this one with a little bit of Winkostella. Everything needs a little bit of glimmer. I don't know if the camera shows up, but it is actually very pretty. I'll push it up a little bit to see if you guys can see the shimmer on there. It actually turned out really gorgeous. So there, oh, we need the Night and Navy one more time. So this is the circle that comes, or the oval that comes out of the dies. And this is the same die set. So this is a set, so you have to cut this twice. You have to cut it one in Balmy Blue to get the outer part, and then once in the basic white to get the inside. And let me see, I might have to go back into my craft room because I did not grab the words, and we need the words. So I apologize, but at least I know exactly where they're at because I haven't put anything away. Not that I should be proud of not putting anything away, but I haven't been out here much. Okay, I'm back. So wishing for a beautiful birthday. So I'm going to ink this up in the Night and Navy, and I'm going to stamp this kind of towards the top a little bit. I don't want it to be super centered. There we go. So now all we have to do is put this guy together. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one that I did with the designer series paper. So it's only going to go on half of our card, but I kind of want to hold this down a little bit so it's a little bit easier to glue. So I am going to put the white on the inside. And I'm going to grab a small smidgen of tear tape. A small smidgen. I don't think that's proper English, but that's okay. It's what we're going with today. And it is going to go on just half of our card. So I'm going to flip this over, put some adhesive on here. Oh man, that's the one that's stuck. There we go. And I want to get a little bit on the edge piece as well. And this one I probably will pull this off because I kind of want it to stick. I don't want it to move. So once it's down, it's down. So I'm going to put this halfway on. There we go. Just going to hold that until everything attaches. And now all we have to do is attach our leaves. And I did go ahead and pre-die cut all of these guys out for you. So all you had to do is just go in and pick out the little tiny pieces. I'm going to flip this over and just add a small amount of adhesive. I should have used the adhesive sheets we have. I totally spaced it. I think I was watching Netflix while I was cutting this, so I was a little preoccupied. So there's that. So I'm going to put this right about there. I don't want to cover too much of the words up. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And I only have the minis right here beside me, which is fine. But I want to make sure I don't want to get any dimensionals on this big leaf. So I just want to make sure that that guy stays dimensional free. Otherwise we will glue our card shut. And we don't want that. Thank you, Anna. Good evening, Debbie. How are you? That is my friend from New York. I'm so happy you could join us. So there we go. And then all we have to do is attach these little leaves. Lots of shrapnel. It makes die cutting all of these super duper fun. So I'm just going to put a smidgen of adhesive right in the center. I don't want to go crazy on making sure every piece of it is has glue on it. I just want to be able to tack it down. It will hold just fine. And remember, less is more when you're using green glue. There we go. And I didn't do this on the other cards, but I have the Wink of Stella here, so I think I might just go in and brush a little bit of Wink of Stella on this as well. We probably won't have time to put the other one together because it is a bit of a moment, but it's so beautiful. I think the paper does like everything for this card. So I'm just brushing a little bit of Wink of Stella on the stems. And it actually looks absolutely gorgeous. You can control, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the wet of it going on, and then it dries in the glimmer. Oh, so gorgeous. I should use this more often. I say that every time, but it's on my Facebook Live table, not on my crafting table, so I forget about it. So there you go. You can definitely add some gems to it if you want to. I have a few rhinestones. Let me grab my tool. And I think sprinkling a few rhinestones would be perfect. There we go. There is your card. I believe it's called a double Z fold. I'm not 100% sure, but the colors and the designer series paper make this card absolutely gorgeous. One last thing before I flip you over, let's do the matching envelope. Everything has to match, and we shouldn't have naked envelopes. Even if you don't put designer series paper on it, you could definitely stamp the sentiment on the envelope, and then you'll know what is on there, what the card is. Oh, and I don't have my other scissors, so hopefully there's no glue that comes out because I don't want to mess up my good scissors. It's not like I can't get another pair, but there we go. Oops. Thank you, Bev. Yes, this set is absolutely gorgeous. And seriously, the designer series paper, I wish they would have carried it over, but it's on While Supplies Last, and it is the framed florets suite. It is absolutely stunning. So let me bring in the other cards that we did at bingo, and I used the same exact sets, used the same exact paper. The only thing I did pull in was some of this Balmy Blue and Basic White ribbon, and that is from the holiday catalog. It goes with the gnome sets, but everything else was with just that set. I don't know how to get all of this in. So there are the cards that we did at bingo, and this is the double Z card we just made. I don't know if you guys can even tell the difference with the Wink of Stella that's on this card versus this card, but it definitely did make it shimmer a lot more. So hopefully you guys liked your card. Yeah, it is literally 7:28, so we wouldn't have time. We wouldn't have had time to make this the second and third card. I actually have a couple of them that I need to finish putting together. But I do have 3 sets from the Make and Takes that are still available. So you would get the bag and all 3 cards. So if anybody is interested, I have 3 left. So definitely shoot me a message and I can get all of the information to you on how you can collect those bags. Okay, if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. I did just send an email about the winter retreat. It is literally 30-something days away. I cannot believe it is right around the corner. So if you haven't reserved your spot, definitely do so soon because it is filling up. But if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. If not, I will see everybody on Thursday for another live. Chat with you soon. Bye-bye.